So, hello everybody once again, and welcome to Resolve the Unsolved Forum by Panisha Ibis. In fact, I think we are on our 10th webinar, right, Mr. Goyal?
Yeah,
And we have been getting interesting feedbacks from entrepreneurs all across different business segments, and it has been quite encouraging, which has helped us decide on the future topics as we take one after another. And we have been getting queries based on various webinars which we had conducted. Thanks everybody for participating in that. Today, we have a very crucial and important discussion on business transformation. Now, business transformation is a very wide gamut. Simply putting it in terms, it may mean a company needs to transform to survive and to thrive. As simple as that. So, there have been technology, there have been market shift, there have been changes in business models. As we have been interacting with various businesses, managing various businesses, we have experienced them. And I'm sure nearly all of you must have undergone various transformations within your business, undertaken various transformations as you have led your businesses through various different times. Today, along with me, I have two gentlemen. Let me introduce them, Mr. Ravindra Goyal once again, and our guest speaker, Mr. Partha Pratim Banerjee from Kolkata. Mr. Goyal, as you all are familiar with, is an entrepreneur who have been primarily into education and training for the last 25 years and have been actively engaged into providing technology training, technology-enabled training, at a later stage, skills training across the sector through his expanded network of operation centers. Recently, I would say, as we are talking about, he's a person who believes in business transformation, and I've seen him leading his organizations through various stages as I have been interacting with him over the last 1 decade plus. So that is Mr. Goyal for you. Today, our guest speaker is Mr. Partha Pratim Banerjee. Mr. Banerjee is a consummate leader with 31 plus years of experience. I would say rich experience. And with his vision and leadership, Partha has planned and executed global business transformation and P&L ownerships. Partha himself has played leadership roles in very strong and well-known organizations. To name a few, he was head of strategic program management at Siemens Technology Services. He was country head for managed services at HCL. He was a global head for business enablement and client innovation of Logica. Partha himself is a firm believer of change management. It's fortunate that we got his time today. Before we start off, I would request Mr. Goyal to say a few words on business transformation. Mr. Goyal, please. Your microphone is off, Mr. Goyal.
thank you, Sandeep. Hello, entrepreneurs. I welcome you all in our 10th webinar on behalf of Panisha Ibis Consulting Group's Forum, Resolve the Unsold. Our today's topic is business transformation. Business transformation is a change management strategy which can be defined as many shifts, realignment, or fundamental change in business operations. The aim is to make changes to processes, people, or systems, technology primarily, to better align the company with its business strategy and vision. An example of a transformation which we all know for better understanding is like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. The business transformation is always considered as probably an inevitable part of the business, but most of the time, transformation is imposed. The business people, they don't look for transformation at a particular moment or the right time when it is required. Most of the time, it is seen that transformation do happen when it is imposed or the company goes into losses or the products are stopped selling. There are many reasons a business might consider a transformation. For instance, new technologies, shift within the market, low profit and turnover, or a merger or acquisition. It may involve changes to the entire organization, such as when integrating the two companies involved in a merger or acquisition, or it may involve a change to a specific function, such as IT, HR, or finance. For example, a drive for greater efficiency may prompt the implementation of a new finance system. So it depends on the vision of the promoters, how they are looking into it. Their vision basically brings the business transformation. Sometimes it happens that yes, people do have a team of consultants who advise from time to time, but most of the time, until unless promoters are not convinced, transformation will not take place. As per Harvard Business Review they describe three types of business transformation. One is operational, making changes to the way you do things to make operation better, faster, or cheaper. Like for example, digital transformation.
Right.
Most of the companies are now migrating to the digital world and they are aligning with it. The transformation is almost at a saturation level, but still the companies who are younger, they are already born in a digital era, so they are already digitally transformed. But the old industries, old businesses, they are still finding it, they are still doing it. Second is core transformation, moving to a fundamentally different way of operating. Somebody was operating through the channel sales. They started working with Flipkart and started promoting their product only online. So there is a way the operation gets changed. Third is strategic, changing the very essence of the company to a new focus. Somebody was making some products and they found the market to change. Within the existing setup, they create the new product market, they create a new TG, and they thrive back in a very good way. Now, Netflix is a good example. Since unveiling the original content strategy, Netflix revenue has roughly tripled. Its profit have multiplied 32-fold and its stock CAGR has increased 57% annually versus 11% for the S&P 500. Like Netflix, if I talk back, the previously they were having the contents like any other channel.
Right.
Contents were developed by somebody else and they used to host it on the server. So one day the CEO sent a mail to the entire network and said, we need to change. We want the profits to come differently. We need to have our original contents. And the entire thing got changed after that. Now Netflix is something like people are leaving their set-up boxes and aligned to Netflix. One of the reviews I was reading on the Airtel, some Twitter remarks, the guy said, "Ki, why should I go for any set-up box or any these dish networks when I can choose what to see, when to see without any advertisement?" So Netflix has not only transformed their business, but they have transformed the way people used to see the stupid box we used to call in our time. Isn't it, Sandeep? Idiot box, I think.
You know, sometimes we do it.
So today we have Mr. Partha Banerjee with us, who is a renowned advisor, business transformation and strategic program management. I request all of you to put forward your queries in chat box along with your name and mobile number. After the session is over, we'll try to answer as many queries as possible. And I thank you all for listening to me. Request Sandeep to take it further. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goyal. Thank you very much. Mr. Banerjee, welcome once again. Please take on. It's your time.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Goyal and Sandeep, for this great introduction. And I would say, uh, I really like the way Mr. Goel was talking about the transformation part. Uh, Actually, a transformation is something what people should first perceive before you get into the place of execution. Unless you perceive that there is a change required, you cannot actually execute the stuffs. So it's a very detailed topic. So I know that we don't have that much of time because the more I get into the sessions like this, it gets extended, but which we will not be able to do. I have also got a time constraint after this. But I put in some of the guiding slides so that we can discuss. I'll try to give a pause after a few of the slides so that we can discuss in between before we are lost into the further in-depth discussion on the later part. And obviously at the end, we can have a small session of Q&A. So let's go like this. I hope you can see the screen.
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah, right. So talking about a solution suite, that's the typical way I work. That whenever my team used to come and say that we have a problem, so I said, okay, we can hear about a problem. It's whether the solutions are the best fit or the near fit, but we need to have a solution to address a problem. So transformation is obviously a way to solve the problem. Let's talk about few of the basic parts, few of the guidelines, how we can address the stuffs. So this is what we call actually the business transformation, which is a process of fundamentally changing the system, the processes, technology, people. It can be across a whole organization or within a business unit. Remember, whatever change that we are trying to implement, the results have to be measurable so that the improvements can be quantified at a certain level and affects the business in the long run. End of the game, it also has to yield the stakeholder satisfaction. And when I talk about stakeholders, I'm not talking about the only internal stakeholders. I'm talking about internal as well as the external stakeholders, primarily our customers. Any transformation is actually a very bold and a seismic shift. The organization accelerates gradually towards a growth path. And we need to think innovative that how we change ourselves to move beyond and get into incremental values and advancements through certain triggers. The definition and the scope of a transformation journey has to be decided right at the beginning because these are otherwise very broad and people might get lost into these things. The strategic mind, the leadership has to define on the vision and the mission towards it so that the transformation journey starts in place. So this is the typical way how we actually start a transformation. I look at it as the balanced scorecard approach to transformation. Unless we have identified the BSC, the pillars for this, we will not be able to structure the transformation journey. For me, with the world of working together, people comes first. It's people, process, customer, and finance. I go back to Mr. Goel's comment on that, the change management, which I am not covering here because that's one day topic or 2 days topic. Change management is the important lever of any kind of transformation. We can talk about that some other day. So people is part of the first change management process. The moment I am going for the transformation bit, I need to see that what are the change management levers I'm doing from there. Process has got a big change management topic. I'm used to a certain way of talking. I have driven certain transformation topics with the global international companies. The first resistance comes from the people. They don't want to change, but don't want to change what? They don't want to change their mindset to accept a new process. They don't want to change their mindset to accept a new way of working, any kind of automation, digitalization, or the new wave of knowledge. So the third and most important part is customer. Now you can't say which is most important. I'm very wrong in saying that. All four levers of the balance scorecard are equally important, to be precise. What are we going to do by running this business transformation, and for whom? If I look at it, we do it all for the last two part. You have more satisfied customers, mind my word, I'm talking about more satisfied customers, and you improve your finance. Better profitability, better margin, that's the ultimate goal of the organization, and better growth. So you influence the customer end to the people and the process part, and do certain changes, how to engage with the customers, how to look at the finance part, and achieve the transformation. Few steps. We need to run the business process transformation for this. Organizational transformation, information, and the digital transformation. In today's world, when I go and elaborate further on that, we will see the digital part, the information technology part plays a big role. I can't change a system and make it efficient if I'm not going for at least some bit of automation and digitalization. Most important part is the management transformation. The people who are the leaders who are managing the system, again it comes to the people part. The transformation at their end is extremely important. And over and above the cultural transformation. The culture today that we have, and I go back and quote Mr. Goel that I'm used to certain things. I'm used to coming to office at 9:30 in the morning, have my tea from the cafeteria, and chat with someone on the way. I go back to my seat, take some time to switch on my system or open the file. But unfortunately, the last 9 months we are working from home. That's a big cultural change. So there are different cultural aspects of the changes, of the transformation. So all these parts we'll have to identify and then design what is going to be the transformation journey. See, there are few things which are common to organizations. See, I'm talking about a very generic stuff, though my focus mostly is on the MSMEs, but most of the things are common to the MSMEs or even the large corporates. But MSMEs require a little bit different focus, which we tweak when we work with the MSMEs. So when you are designing the entire transformation journey, you need to be extremely careful which are the components that you need to transform. Typically what happens, people, in the name of transformation, we just try to change whatever comes in front of us. We really don't deep dive and find out that what is going to be the inside part, what are the very intrinsic components which are driving the problems today. The need for the transformation, which is so important. Going back to the term for the MSMEs companies, the need for them in most of the cases I have seen that the company is surviving for 10 years, 15 years or whatever. They have done extremely well at the beginning. For the last 3 years, they are stuck. They can't move on beyond this. It is the same customer base, there's no diversification, no change in rule of the game, So the entrepreneurs get frustrated. People retention becomes a problem. Retention of customers become a problem. Customer acquisitions, partnerships become a problem because the 10 years have not changed, have not adapted my rule of the game today. So which levers we need to change? Identification of those. The as-is study is extremely important. So what is the major focus? The typical major focus that we have: reduce cost, leverage innovation, improve time to digitalize, guarantee the compliance. Now the compliance means it's not the statutory compliance alone. There are a lot of compliances. Why it is important today with the new pandemic coming in, there are a lot of compliances which you'll have to keep in mind. That's why the safety and health security compliance, which I've categorically mentioned here, which is a new part, new component of our transformation journey. Improve agility and simplify business. Now what happens, in most of the business we see that since we have been working in our own way, we have failed to incorporate the expectation of the customers that I need to be flexible. And I have got this kind of a product. The customer says, you have this kind of a product, but my environment actually wants a little bit extra. That typical advertisement that you used to see, dil mange more. Customer would always say the dil mange more. The more we can satisfy the customer on the dil mange more factor, we retain, we enhance. So that is the agility. How much simplified is our process to accept the queries, requirements, because the customer is also changing. Mind that. Customer is changing and his requirement is also changing. If I'm a partner to the customer, I'll have to be agile and flexible to accept. Maximize the value. I have invested X amount of money, but remember, an entrepreneur, more than the money that he or she is investing, he or she is investing more of her energy and time. How do I maximize this value? Again, it goes back to the footstep of the innovation, out of the box thinking. So a transformation process actually can trigger if you want, the out of the box thinking. Tune your people, bring them back to that kind of agile environment so that they can start contributing. Increase the customer engagement. Typically, this happens with the Indian companies. I have seen that we work with the customer, but the word engagement is missing most of the time. We work on more on transaction basis. We don't engage in terms of values. We don't build up the relationship, the trust. It becomes mundane and robotics. Major factor of transformation. How do you improve the customer engagement experience? And as before, as I mentioned, address the new demand. The new demand comes from the customer side because he is also changing. The new demand comes from the industry side because whichever industry that you are working in, the needs of the game are evolving every day. So what is the balanced approach to the solution? The moment I'm going for a major transformation drive, I need to be focused. That's why I said, need to find out what do I want to do. Immediate challenges which is impacting our employees, customers, and partners. What are the dynamic market forces which are influencing my business, my customers? we tend to forget about the small word collaboration. We need to enhance the collaboration factor across organizational boundaries. If I have got couple of units within my organization, what happens is that there is hardly any cohesion. There is hardly any internal current of information exchange, which can actually increase the efficiency of the organization. We need to focus strongly on this. Withstand and sustain. If I have a crisis today, I see why I brought this topic is that the moment you talk about the transformation stuff, the company starts thinking, "Arey, this is one stuff which I can do later. I need to divert my fund something else." People lack in the long-term views that today if you drive this, tomorrow you are going to gain 10 times, 20 times out of this. So to drive this kind of a transformation journey, because there are a lot of changes which come as a recommendation from the transformation, you need to look for immediate fund management for this. You need to immediately look at what are the resilience factor to mitigate the current situation if there is a problem. There will be budget constraints in different places. You need to handle that in some way before you step into the transformation journey. These are few mistakes the companies do. They jump into this, they keep the transformation journey incomplete midway, which is worse than starting a transformation. Don't do anything if you can't complete a transformation journey. What do I need to change in-house? I am using the word restart. Think of your computer and your mobile. Many a time your mobile starts behaving in a weird way. Your laptop becomes slow. Now you see, if you compare your electronic gadgets with your organization, the same thing is happening, especially with the MSMEs. I am becoming sluggish. I am not efficient today. I am not being able to deliver the best of my performances. I am missing in the additional customer count. Restart. How do you restart? What do I need to change the in-house stuffs? Very interesting part. This journey starts from in-house. Is there a possible way of working differently? Does the customer really want to look at enhanced capabilities from our side or new functionalities coming out from our products and services? The last point is adapt interoperability. I stress on this factor because especially many of the MSMEs, what happens, they start with small units within themselves, but again, disconnected horizons. The interoperability between the departments, between the units is something which is extremely important to make your output more comprehensive and efficient. Now comes the change factor. Business must constantly evolve to get the competitive advantage in the market. Now, as I said, the moment you were sluggish, you were stuck into the old processes, old way of working, old mindset. You are not adapting the fresh demands, the fresh needs. I'll always stress on the third point on the current situation, health, security, regulatory changes, and compliance. So this is going to be with us for a couple of years now. So this is the new normal in part of the change management or the transformation journey. This comes jumping because we restart the business, start to think about revamping the organization for the new reality. Now the new reality is the new way of working, new process, new demands, new thoughts. So there is a restart that is required. Why are we talking about this balanced approach solution? Because unless we are prepared with these 4 quadrants, Stepping into the deeper part, which we'll now get into gradually, is going to be impossible subsequently. The only thing that can help us, we'll have to look at the progressive value generation. Now comes the steps. Analyze before we act, which I have spoken about 2 slides back. There has to be a proper due diligence to find out what is, it's a discovery stage to find out where we are today, what do we need, what are the lacunas today, what are the gaps. Business values centered design for new model. Your new model cannot be an esoteric one. Your new model should be driven by the business values. All the business application areas has to be transformed, catering to the needs, doing the optimization at the best to meet the new demands. The very important point, efficiency enhancement and optimization. We have to have a very holistic view of what are the capabilities that we have today. The assessment of our current capabilities, the assessment of the performance of our team today is extremely important to design a very intelligent, flexible, and a scalable architecture. We need to optimize and enhance efficiency at every step. See what happens typically for this kind of an organization. We grow, we grow, we grow, we grow. So people who are contributing to these people right from day one till probably the 8th year or 9th year, they have been doing the same things. Even they are not exposed to the new way of working, the new technologies, new thoughts, new ideas. So the capability has not increased. Efficiencies are stagnant. No one has helped them to improve the efficiency. Another important factor is the process and the quality enhancement. We need to streamline the processes, simplify all the business particles so that we can respond faster, react faster, maximize each and every step to the best possible thing. Eliminate wastage of time, eliminate wastage of goods. There has to be a clear transparency in each and every process adapted here. That will help us to reduce cost. We need to standardize. There has to be one way of working. If an organization has 2 different factories in 2 different locations, you cannot have 2 different ways of working because one is in Bathinda and other is in Jammu. Since these are 2 different places, 2 different states, you cannot have a different way of working. If the product and service is the same, you need to approve, you need to get help of the best standardized way of working which is being followed in the industry. Else, you will lie behind. The ultimate aim is to drive efficiency. Reducing the cost and increasing the efficiency of each and every component of our business and services for best-in-class delivery. After all, whatever we deliver, the quality of that is going to entice our customers to remain with us, to give us more from his side and more references. So these are the clear focus which you need to bring in ultimately. Drive business advantages and stakeholder value. Clear focus on automated products with the current customer needs. This will help us lower the cost base and increase performance. How do we do this? I come back to my favorite, progressive value generation. You cannot generate this value in one day just like with a magic wand. You are here today and you are there tomorrow just by the touch of a magic wand. You need to be structured and follow the progressive value generation. That's the transformation journey. And we do it through a very renowned industry approved process called business process re-engineering roadmap. How do you start this kind of a journey? The entire change, the transformation. First, you need to identify your leadership and empower them. You need to evolve the performance within the team. Continuously improve and transform your business applications and service so that you can optimize to best fit the environment. Again, I'm talking about the business process interoperability because if you have multiple units, multiple places, it has to be cohesive. Please focus on automation and digitalization. Without this, you will not be able to make yourself efficient and optimize your performance to achieve better values. Again, reducing the cost and increasing the efficiency. Okay. Any questions so far? Let me take a pause out here.
Partha, I just wanted to ask you one thing.
Yeah.
At the beginning, you have mentioned when you started your presentation, I just noted it down. It's a bold step and transformation is a seismic shift, if I'm right. I do agree with it, but if you can emphasize why these two things are very, very critical. Because you have handled a couple of transformations yourself.
Correct. See, first of all, the decision making coming from the leadership team. As I said that your vision and mission should be very clear from the leadership side. Now, the moment you realize that you need a change, I have been talking about different things which Mr. Goel started and I've been connecting to Mr. Goel said that it's all about the change management. The leadership team, I'm not talking about management. Mind it, I'm very careful in talking about leadership, leaders and managers. The leaders in the organization, the moment they find, when they do the due diligence, identify what are the areas they have to change. How to change is a different part. What are the areas they have to change? They know that the result is going to be seismic. It's just like an earthquake, it is going to hit the base. So that's why they need to be very bold. They need to be in their position, stay firm. We have decided to go for this change and I will not change my decision. The decision for my change is confirmed. The decision not to change my decision is also confirmed.
Right.
Why the leadership has to be bold in this is because they know that this is going to create the seismic effect on the ground. The repulsion that is going to come out from this thing. That's why they need to be bold.
Right. Thanks. Mr. Goel, you wanted to add something at this stage? Because I know you have been making a couple of very, very bold decisions.
See, when we talk about transformation,
Your voice is breaking, Mr. Goel.
as I said, in my own feelings, I feel that one is that you take a call while you are doing business, you see how things are moving around. You see the international markets, you discuss with people. And like in sports, I feel that they say that you must quit when you are at the peak. So I believe the business transformation time, the right time is that when you are in high profits, you must explore newer markets and you must invest to transform yourself for the next, like maybe probably I'll say that you always be working for transformation 1 year, 2 years down the line, and you must keep striving for that because ultimately, if today there is a change, now when you like there is a time required to transform the entire organization when you have like if you are a big industry or if you are having a large pool of manpower or large customer base, you cannot change overnight what Partha said correctly. I mean, it's not a
Right.
one day job. So when you are doing perfectly fine, I believe that's the time. Then at that point of time, you must have what you call angels appointed to look for the transformation and to have another butterfly in your bouquet.
Correct.
True, true, very true. Do we have any other queries from anybody? You can unmute. I think Partha, you can carry on. If there's,
So the plan
yeah.
transformation part,
Hmm.
a process which involves a deliberate effort to move on in an organization. What we require. So now that's where comes, why we were bold, why the leadership has to be very bold. So these are the steps that we need to follow. Awakening, mobilizing and reinforcing. I'll not explain further because these are all self-explanatory, you guys can understand. You have to
Right.
awaken your team, your environment, your workforce, mobilize them. There's a lot of movement in the entire system. Energize them. Energize them. Second point is so important. Envision, because if the leader has a vision, you'll have to inculcate that vision within them and enable your leadership to carry on the change, carry on the transformation.
Very true.
And I said the seismic part, it unfreezes the current situation. So now what happened after working for 10, 15 years running this organization, everything has now come to some kind of frozen situation. So this shake, the seismic movement has unfrozen the entire thing. It
True.
moved. The change is coming through the movement internally, the transformation happening through the movement. But then again, you have to refreeze. So those are the phases of the plant transformation. That's why I brought this slide later after the discussion.
Right.
Now, we don't have much time because, as I said, that this kind of discussions, it continues further.
Very true. Very true. Very true.
So we have come across a modular approach. We call it the chess and the adept. I'll quickly go through that because these are the approaches, these are the engines that we apply in different places and got excellent result. The name sounds interesting, chess. It came from the full sentence, comprehensive services and solutions.
Okay.
And adept, see the word adept in English as per all the dictionaries is proficient. So we have been extremely careful in selecting this, but it goes very well with our objective, achieving delivery excellence by a progressive transformation. Ultimately, what we are delivering, we'll have to be proficient in that. And how do we do this? So the steps to transform before we get into the adept model. So this is a chess life cycle, which we call, if you look at it here. You see, in most of our slides, you'll find the lighthouse at the left. So I leave you with the thought why we have a lighthouse. Anyways, so we need to do the due diligence before we get into any kind of transformation. Analyze the current situation, understand our customer base, their needs, their demands. It's only 4 lines out here, but it's a very, very deep job. Then comes once you do this thing, once you do this analysis part or due diligence part, you walk for the solution. What is going to be the roadmap? What are the different things which needs to be transformed? What are the components of the transformation? Then comes, whenever you're doing a change, Your change has to reflect internally and also reflect with your customer. Now, this customer engagement is how you are going to pass on your changed values to the customer. What is the communication protocol, engagement protocol, and subsequent living with the protocols? How is it going to affect your delivery? What kind of productivity or efficiency increment? What are the automation possible, digitalization possible? Ultimately, the point number 5, which is my business pulse. Periodic customer innovation workshop is required because my change, the report card of my change, my transformation is my customer. It will ultimately come from there. I need to measure it. I will have some internal measurement criteria, those are fine. But the final result comes from my customer innovation, where I run the workshops, I interact with them, and I tell them in a very methodical way, these are the areas which we have performed differently. And Mr. Customer, please tell us what is your experience. In the business transformation, the ADAPT concept, we have got the core values and the initiatives. Improved services and products. These are the values which we want to achieve through our transformation process. Customer satisfaction and demand. I will keep on saying wherever I get a chance, customer engagement and customer satisfaction. Those are the kings and the key points for all my success in my life. Collaboration. Now, when I talk about collaboration, I'm not only talking about internal stuff. Again, it's a customer-centric value. My customers see me as partners. My customers should get more chances to collaborate. And why? That's why is a major area where we need the transformation. All these 4 core values in most of the cases take a backseat for a traditional organization. We tend to forget the importance of these areas. So what are the initiatives? We go by the standardization route. We go by the innovation route. We go by the automation and digitalization. And last but not the least, people excellence. You see, in all my sessions, when I work with the corporates, or even when I'm addressing trainees in the MBA classes and others, so the people part keeps on coming. The customer and the people part that keeps on coming. It's all about people. Now here I'm talking about people excellence. People excellence are my own people within the organization. How am I extending my transformation values for the people excellence? And the change lever is the flexibility and scalability of the entire system. If I'm rigid, if I'm not ready to extend myself, then I'll never be able to change.
Right.
So that is called ADAPT, the proficient values. What is the delivery model? So Chase is the comprehensive services and solution. As we said, we are starting with the due diligence. We understand what is the requirement. We work on the solution. Then the implementation of the solution is within the circle. We go by the process of business process re-engineering. This is a lovely way of working. We call it, the nickname is BPR. BPR is an engine which the experts build up and tune it based on the customer requirement. So the chess part, it gives you the important information, what you need to change, and the process of change is being guided by BPR, business process engineering, re-engineering.
Right.
We'll go through the we'll go through the route of standardization and automation. Interesting part is what is team and OPEX. I'll come to the team part later on. Operational excellence is something which we'll have to achieve at the end of the day. So, how do we get the operational excellence? Those are part of the things we have identified at the chest level. We have applied the engine called BPR, and we are getting the OPEX part. But what is team? It is written talent enhancement and mobilization. Friends, I'm coming back to people once again. Unless your transformation piece is touching your people, your talents, the name is quite acronymous. You see, team, we are talking about team is together. Here we have enhanced to talent enhancement and mobilization. How can you continuously enhance your talent and mobilize them to efficiency, to new requirements, to new demands, the need of the market which is changing fast? And on the lower part, there are different components through which you manage your team, you mobilize your team, you increase the efficiency of your team.
Right.
So this is the progressive value generation path that we follow. Your current operating model, we look at what is the current financial impact, operational impact, and the supply chain impact. We look at a interim operating model, look at the workforce safety, fund management, customer orientation, focuses, communication with the stakeholders, and different components like service management, workflow management, cost optimization, smart design, etc. Then we come to a target operating model, where we receive the operational excellence, compliances, and added to the new world order. This is the journey, and this continues. And we say that this is Adept 1. The change management, the transformation has to continue to the next level, which is called Adept 2. Thank you, friends, for your attention. Now, if we have time, I'm once again here to listen to any queries that you have.
Thank you, Parthu. Thank you. It was great. In fact, what you shared is very, 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 very important. And I think the time which we are traveling through COVID, in fact, is an opportunity for a major transformation, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you must have experienced, we too have experienced over here in the last 7 months, organizations which have woken up and said that we need to transform. I'm not naming the organizations, are actually in business today. They are generating revenue. They have done a business transformation. As you said, still partially, they're still trying to work out. And they are not having any problem. They are moving on as such. Mr. Goel, what do you say?
You see, this is a very subjective domain, and
Yes,
again, I'll say it is the leadership which plays a major crucial role.
major role.
Absolutely.
That everything is visible, despite that company is going down, despite that profits are not coming, product is not selling, partners are going away, employees are leaving. Still, sometimes the leadership does not change.
No.
And in my industry experience of this education vertical, I have seen people stuck to what they have done, and they die with it. It's like captain of the ship. So they die with the ship. That's it. So when it's very subjective, in person who is exposed, like there are people who are not exposed, they don't see, they don't read, they don't participate in conferences or seminars. So it depends that how people when they take up their business. Then I believe the leadership should not have any assignment onto their table other than taking that company making that company ready for the future. But that's their prime role, and engaging the customer engagement is one thing we talk about in most of the seminars. But to my opinion, even the employee engagement is best at a great level.
Exactly.
So until the employees are engaged, mean coming to the customer engagement is a very foreign agenda.
Yeah, that's what exactly I have been also saying. I was talking about the people part. Those are my employees.
Very true.
So yes, when the leadership has to take a look, leadership has to change, leadership has to evolve, leadership has to interact. So there are it's ultimately been like if I am a consultant to somebody and he does not mend his fancies or he's stuck to his ideas. So despite being telling him all the good things, mean he will not change. The transformation can happen from cocoon to butterfly at their own will. They
Correct.
die. They need to finish up with their past.
Very much, very much. It has happened. Those couple of organizations we have seen today are still waiting for times to recover, but not opening up and not discussing. So we hope that they also get a good opportunity to take it up. I think for such topics we get queries on emails within a day or 2 days time, and we will be forwarding and sharing that with you, Partha, as the queries come. Okay. And I'm sure that you will get some time to respond back to those queries. We receive them on the mails as such. Thank you once again, Partha. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Well, I think we are already at 4:02 and Partha has one more session to attend to. Okay.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks a lot, Mr. Goel and Sandeep. Okay.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.